Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corkscrunner Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13. This is Dad from Devil Driving.
This is Motorist from War. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
What's up, Australia?
Hey, Richard, it's Nev. How are you, man?
Hey, Ned. What's shaking?
Thanks for joining us on the Filter special. It means quite a lot to me personally, you taking the time to do it, especially with, you know, how busy you must be in the lead up to the release of Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun, and I'm doing my first movie score, so that's an added bonus, so it's extra pressure.
Yeah, there'd be a lot going on for you at the moment.
There's always going. You know, in 2016, you've always got a lot of stuff you got to do. Back in '95, it was like you do a bunch of interviews, you get ready for a tour, you sit on a bus, and that's about it. And then you go platinum, you know, and easy platinum, and then you when you come back, you got to go, you know, buy a new house. Now it's like, you know, you're making records for probably 1/10 of what we made our first record. We made our first record probably cost like, you know, $500,000. This record was like 1/10 of that, and you have to pack in tons of stuff with it. You have to update your Facebook. You have to update all your web socials. You have to participate with pledgemusic.com. They deserve, you know, way more extra attention because they're actually pre-buying the record. It's just so much more of a challenging, but it's still fun. And the other thing is they want you to do your own interviews. You know, they want you to type out all your answers and to do blogs and all this stuff. It's like, good Lord. Once in a while, you do an interview for like Spin, or you write a column for Spin, and like, you know, you could sit around and do it, you know, as a just a full-on bonus. But now they expect it, you know, so it's wild. Things are different.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, man. You know, even with, you know, press, like you guys are just pumping it out at the moment. I mean, it's just interview after interview by the sounds of things. But, you know, anything to get the word out about the album.
Well, yeah, interviews are pretty much the way you know, that's kind of the way we've been doing it for, you know, 20 years. So that's cool when someone actually takes the time to, you know, get you on the radio or do a podcast or do something like that. That's fine. But when they're, you know what I mean? When you're like, write a blog, you know, it's like, all right, geez, I don't want to talk about my record, but I guess I'll just talk about my record because, you know, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing this blog, you know?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about the music industry and write a blog. And you're like, okay, well, all right.
Well, man, the new album, Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, Crazy Eyes, the new record. It's the first record that I just mandated it into the process that I produce it, and that I have final say on everything. You pretty much have that as an artist, but it's important for everybody around me to know that, like, look, dude, this is my fucking, you know, this is my baby, this is my project, you know. And so when you put that authority on everything, then you have less arguments because everyone just kind of knows that, like, okay, it's, you know, I'm not going to win this argument. You know what I mean? And there are, you know, so many different ways to skin a cat when you're making a record, that it's all those eccentricities and all those weird things that I want to do that have to be acknowledged. And so many artists, you know, so many other producers are probably like, hey, dude, but don't you want to have this going into the chorus? And like, don't, you know, it's like, you don't want to have to say, like, I hate to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to fucking put my foot down. But yes, no, we're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, so just by having that added extra power, you can get the weirdness that I think people like about Filter. And I think that's why this record is getting very accepted, because it doesn't sound like we're trying to stay, you know, hip with the radio, or, you know, we're not trying to, you know, cling to a genre. We're just doing our own thing. You know, so I think that's why people are freaking out about it.
Man, I think it's changed the game in a lot of ways. You know, it's still got the signature elements of Filter, but it's also very different and a lot more aggressive. It's a really aggressive record. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know what pushed the writing in that direction there?
I to be honest with you, I've always been I've always been very angry and I love making music that just reaches through the speakers and grabs your attention, you know? And, you know, in the last couple of years, you know, I love like Surprise, off our last record, and I love, you know, It's My Time and Take a Picture. That's in me. That's within me, and I do that because I have a tender side to me that I think is important that all people have. But like, whenever someone tries to like smooth out those rough edges, I just get, you know, I get bummed out. And then I really hated on the last record when people were like, I guess he's mellowing out with age. They say ageist stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, if you only knew. Like, you know, so this record was like, you know, there was a mass shooting, and it was just right on like the tip of my thinking. It was like, the lyrics were all just right there. And we were working on this really heavy kind of mean song, and it turned out to be Mother E. And it's just like, going back to Hey Man, Nice Shot, like, you know, I wrote a song about a guy that held a press conference and blew his head off, and, you know, people were kind of flabbergasted that like that song could be so huge. And the reality is like that's kind of why you hired me. That's why you bought my records, you know? And that's the thing. So I see these traumatic things, and I just want to make the soundtrack to their thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Mother E is about this person that's committing this horrendous crime, and like, what does that sound like in his head? Like, what is the mental thought process of someone that's insane? Because, you know, we all know how Justin Bieber is lovesick. We get the fact that like Adele really is lovesick and she's always looking for love, and we understand how that sounds. What does it sound like when, you know, when someone loses their grip and just attacks, you know, a bunch of people for no reason other than, you know, he doesn't like them, you know? So that's kind of my gig. That's kind of what I do, is I write about the things that make most people uncomfortable. I don't even think heavy metal bands like get that, you know, that into crazy, you know? And to me, I think that exposing the honesty of, you know, of the crazy, like just exposing that kind of mentality is interesting musically, because music is supposed to it's supposed to represent all your emotions and all your intellect and all, you know, the all sides of the equation. And that's why Crazy Eyes is more aggressive.
It definitely is very aggressive, man. Compared to, as I said, like, I've been a Filter fan since like Short Bus, way back, and I thought that was aggressive. It's a very dark album in a lot of ways, but man, I think it's my new favorite.
Yeah.
Out of all the
I love that.
I love it
yeah,
so much.
I want you to have a new favorite. I want to make the Filter record that everybody's been waiting for. You know, there's been a lot of stuff that I've done in the last couple of years that's good, and I'm proud of it, but like, I want to hear, and you can't just get the computer from that era and, you know, play the guitar drunk to make that. You have to literally kind of say, all right, this is who I am right now. It's the year 2016. I've learned a lot, but what is it that I'm missing that I really need to put in? And it's just going for it. It's, you know, there's 1,000 producers that would say, dude, you're repeating the same line over and over. Why do you keep doing that? Why don't you write out all these different lyrics? And why don't you tell a story like yourself? I'm like, see, that's the thing. You're already telling me to go against my instinct of just screaming, you know, the same lyric over and over and adding emotion behind every new time I say it. And you're ruining the point. You know what I mean? Like, all those eccentricities were scraped away with other producers. And, you know, I would have that argument, and it would be like, you know, we're in a studio, it costs a lot of money. there's 10 bands that are waiting to get in here. I gotta do this. I didn't want any of that pressure. I just wanted my brain to kind of, but see, having said that, I love collaborating with, all the different musicians. Number one, I want to tell you, 2 Australian bands. Umi Capella is an amazing guitar player who co-wrote a lot of the record with me. He also co-produced it.
Mm. And
Chris Reeve, his father was Cliff Reeve, and Chris Reeve is our drummer, and he is incredible. He is probably one of the best musicians I've ever been in a band with. Both of those guys are amazing. And Ashley Zarigian is an amazing bass player, as well as Bobby Miller, our live keyboard player type person. So this version of the band is going to be amazing, and I hope we get enough interest from Australia, because I really want to come back and play.
I really hope so too, man. I was there in Brisbane at Soundwave. Was the last time. I think there was technical issues or something like that, but it was still amazing, man. That was still an amazing show. And
you guys deserve a real concert, not one of these festivals where you throw your crap on stage and it's bright and it's all lit up in the daytime, and we're just trying to tune a guitar, real fast and play for half an hour. You can't. You guys deserve like a real hour-and-a-half concert where we go deep into the 7 records we've done and play the new stuff as well. And you should have like the lighting concept behind Hey Man Nice Shot when we play live. You should have a real concert. You can't see us on Soundwave. Number one, I think the guy's going to jail, but number two, you need to we need to get the interest up so we can really, really go and play. Tell your promoters that you're willing to get 1,000 people in each, 3,000, 4,000 people to see us, in each city, so that we can manage getting over there. The expenses of getting over there are insane.
Oh, it's huge.
So,
I know. Totally.
Unfortunately, the only people who make money are the airlines.
Yeah.
From rock and roll. So it's got to happen. I really miss Australia, and if you guys buy the crap out of this record, it's going to send a huge message to. And it's time for some really good industrial music other than Nine Inch Nails, because Nine Inch Nails. Remember, I was in Nine Inch Nails. I had a blast. But you got to spread it out a little bit. It's got to be different. You need more and more, bands to get over to Australia. Al Jorgensen lost his shirt with Ministry because AJ stole a bunch of his money.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
That's another one of your festival things where it's kind of, and AJ's cool. He brought us over and he paid us. But again, festivals, 30 minutes, you need a big ass concert. We need to do a industrial, only kind of vibe where it's like an hour, an hour and a half of Ministry, an hour and a half of Filter, an hour and a half. We need something like that.
Man, I was thinking about that the other day. I would love to see Ministry, Filter, Combi Christ, all that in one festival, but really spread out.
We're touring Europe with Combi Christ.
Amazing live band, man.
We're touring Europe with Combi Christ.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're great. They're great friends of. Umi just played guitar for them. There was an emergency, and Umi went off and played guitar for Combi Christ just last week in Berlin.
Way. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Our 2 bands are super close friends.
That's cool. Yeah, I love Combi Christ, but I've always been a huge Filter fan, so I'm really hoping to see you guys down here, man. I saw you in 2000, I believe it was. That was in Brisbane. Waited years and years.
Honestly, we're way better than that. Yeah, I remember falling off the stage a few times out there. Back in my drinking days.
But that was fun, man. That was for me, I waited since, was it 96, 97 to see you guys. So for me, I just think it was just amazing. And then having to wait all those years again and saw you at Soundwave. So I think I really want to see you guys down here for a full tour. So I think we really need to get a petition going and get everyone buying this album, man.
Yeah, man. Get a petition. Get some sponsors behind it. Do your magic. Get some marmalade. Get some Vegemite sponsors behind us. Let's do this.